Shit.
16.
16 of the Homerow podcast. I'm going to call myself lovely this week, host Joe
Oh, yeah.
McAllister, joined by the, of course, lovely Doxy,
Oh, hi.
and the always also lovely Brian Quiglin.
And hello.
Changing the name, it's now the Lovely Podcast. Oh, I like that. It's cute. Has nothing to do with video games, though. So here we are, Homerow, episode 16. Another kind of iffy... Damn it, of course somebody messages me in Skype. The instant.
We can start over if you want.
No, we're good. I am still covering Lego Dimensions, just not yet.
right.
Sorry, that was actually an important one. Kind of slow news week again. Nothing like earth-shattering. A few things here and there that we'll touch on. And actually, let's just open up with some wild speculation because I think we're really good at it.
Yeah.
First up, Konami. We all know that that honeymoon is over. But what they have said, Konami as a company has said that they will continue to support Metal Gear as a franchise. They will also continue to support the core gamer. And their franchises, hopefully, which means that we might still get a Castlevania. We may still see some Metal Gear entries. And the question and response that I hope we get is some wild speculation about what this actually means. Hopefully not just a pachinko machine. But Doxy, what do you think the future for Konami's properties could be?
Okay, so you remember a couple podcasts ago we were talking about them having Kojima in a jail cell and him jerking off all day?
Vaguely, but now vividly, yes. Yes, I do.
That's what I think is happening. No, I'm just kidding. I'm ready for Metal Gear Solid to be done, just all the way. Castlevania, I hope never dies. That seems like a story that we can like add characters to at any time and like have new perspectives and stuff like that.
Sure.
But Metal Gear Solid seems like they're just beating an old horse, beating an old horse, not a dead horse.
Not quite dead.
But like they're
not dead.
but they're beating an old snake is what's going on. Like that guy,
Come on.
that guy
Wow.
is fucking a bajillion years old. It's time. I just don't. I don't know.
I wasn't
Like
quick
not
enough. I was
that.
gonna end the call.
Not that I don't think that having a super elderly dude wouldn't be like kind of cool, but just it feels like they're dragging the story out as long as they can, and that is not something that I enjoy.
I agree. Brian, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think Doc's made a really good point. I mean, Joe, you finished the game, right? I mean, you finished MGS5, right?
No.
Oh,
No,
okay.
oh man, this has been the like most slow play, slow burn. Like every time a side up comes up, I'll go check that out. It's become like what Rocket League kind of was. Like I'm almost hesitant to. It's a weird game, and I don't know how to explain my feelings on it because I still love it to death. But like jumping into campaign missions is now giving me super anxiety because I think I might do it wrong, even though in the game
Totally understand that.
there's no way to do it wrong. It's just like I almost don't want it to be over, and I don't want to move on, so I want to just kind of keep plugging away at it.
I have had plenty of games where that happens, where you're just like, I don't want to go over there because I know if I go over there, this game's going to end and this experience is going to end and I'm not going to be able to get that back. So I totally understand doing that. No, what I was thinking of is just that maybe they can do Metal Gear Solid with a completely new storyline, protagonist, something.
I wouldn't mind that at all. I think that that's a really good idea, especially since there's a new team lead on that project.
Yeah.
I think that's
absolutely.
a really good idea, actually.
I mean, because the core game mechanics don't necessarily need to change, but the narrative structure probably does.
Yeah, it has to. It just
Right?
has to.
I mean, it didn't make sense to begin with, so if they just scrapped everything and did something new, whatever. I mean, great.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think there's two ways they can go. So they can follow up with some sort of like Revengeance 2. I think sometimes that's not included in the larger Metal Gear kind of sphere, but that was it was called Revengeance, right? The crazy Platinum Games one.
Sure.
Metal Gear Rising Revengeance, I believe it was called.
Right. Yes.
Everybody knows it as Rising. Sorry, I just remember the Revengeance part. But
No, I just remember Revengeance because I don't even.
It's not a word.
Okay, good. I just
Not
want to
a
make sure.
fucking word. Anyway.
I'm off that.
It's revenge and vengeance together, which mean the same thing, right? Anyway.
Okay, time out. I'm sorry, time out. I think you're coming out of your webcam too.
What?
I think so. You
I
sound
do
really tinny.
Yeah, something does sound. I was going to ask if it's me.
Sorry, you're probably gonna have to edit this out.
No, you know what it is? Skype has me...
Oh, that's interesting.
So, Skype had me going through...
Oh, that's it.
Yeah.
Whatever that was.
You sound way better.
So, recording is going to sound great. I'm not cutting this. Fuck it.
Okay, that's fine.
Do it live.
That's fine.
The problem was that Skype was using this microphone up here. So you guys probably heard me from a distance, and then
Yeah.
OBS, everybody listening to the podcast or watching it will think you're crazy, which is the whole aim of this thing anyway.
Right.
Revengeance is not a word. That's where I was. I think they could go super crazy with it and do some one-offs like that, but I do think, to me, the most interesting thing would be let these upstarts, the people underneath Kojima, maybe a project lead that was like, I wrote 2 or 3 of those missions, give them a chance to tell their own story, because you have to realize that in that large realm of Metal Gear, we're always following like one section of the world, what's going on with these people in this one part of that. I think it'd be awesome to jump to what the repercussions were on the other side of the world, or
like a totally different organization and stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Right.
that could be super cool.
Or kind of explore the butterfly effect of what happened in 1984 in Metal Gear Solid Ground Zeroes, for instance. What are the repercussions for the United States government that Snake went into Guantanamo Bay and they found, they know he's there. So what is the president like? There's some really cool stuff they could do if they did it right. The thing that scares me with Konami is them fucking it up. But I think.
Come on. They have only made good decisions, like canceling Silent Hills.
God, yeah, that's what scares me so much. Is being the optimist, I'd like to think that they have it in them to make at least a decision that's like, okay, this makes sense. But they're also not going to take an $80 million gamble on Metal Gear 6, or a new Metal Gear series that is the same scope and breadth that Metal Gear 5 was. I don't think there's any way, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think they should start. Drop the Solid. I think that one of the things that they did with Metal Gear Solid was to separate it from the original Metal Gear game, which, by the way, I'm a huge fan of. And start with call it Metal Gear something else. Don't call it Solid. Have it be start a new Metal Gear series.
Gas. Metal Gear Liquid.
yeah. Metal Gear Metamorphosis or metaphysics.
Well, they've done that a couple times too. They did Subsistence, right? They've done some one-offs before. They never slid into the main story arc. Like, people don't regard them as highly as the Metal Gear Solids, but that's nothing to say. I think that is by far the clear choice to us, which means Konami's not going to do it. They're going to go with Metal Gear 6, of course. Metal Gear Solid 6, the ghostly hurting
Hollows.
or something. Yeah. They're just going to try and cash in, of course. But I think it would be interesting to, like we said, explore a different part of the same timeline where those events exist, but see what happened because of that to other people or other governments. Or even, how cool would it be to explore the other side of the conflict? It's always we're fighting Russians. What were they doing? Did they not have another agent they could have sent out? Of course they did. They were the bosses that we fought. There's some cool shit. Tell Mike to start making the next Metal Gear.
Am I the only person who's now taken this whole idea of Metal Gear and the Ghostly Hollows to some weird Harry Potter thing?
That's exactly what I was thinking right away.
But it's a triangle, and the symbol is like a triangle, and a gun and boobs.
Of course, boobs.
Yeah,
then you
I'm
can
like
paint
the
it
biggest
silver
Harry
gold.
Potter nerd you've ever met in your life, so that's immediately where I jumped when you said hollows.
Man, what if the school was actually they were detaining those children and Snake had to get in there and get them all out?
Or what if they were training them to be
happened.
snakes?
Oh my god. And then they're all clones? They all have fox that? Oh man.
Yeah. I'm just saying.
Have you ever gone through and really tried to understand the Metal Gear lore?
No.
Not even a little bit.
So I've done two things. I've done Giant Bomb has an awesome series. It's behind a paywall of their premium service, but I bought it just to watch this before Metal Gear 5. And it was it's called Metal Gear Scanlan, and one of their guys, Drew Scanlan, goes through Metal Gear Solid all the way up through now they're playing Metal Gear 5, and it's been the past year they've played through every game. They sit down once a week and they just go till they get to a good point and then they stop. It's usually about an hour. Some of them are like 3 hours because he will die over and over and over and over. But even watching that and watching the cutscenes intently, no idea. Going through on YouTube, there are some really good, we may try to link those, but there's some really good synopsis, but they still don't make sense. And even then, they're like, we're breaking it down to like the cursory level. Like, there's a lot more going on.
Yeah.
Like, how do you...
I think it's like to me, I kind of equate it to a bag of cats that I just not going into.
I can understand that. I get that.
Yeah.
Every time I try to sit down and start reading about the lore of Metal Gear, I just get lost immediately.
Yeah, they do the like throwing names around that you may remember but probably don't thing way too early in that game too. Like, you remember the big characters, but then there's like this one.
Dude, it's like Game of Thrones. It's like that. It's so information dense, and there's just so much to remember.
Yep, and if you miss one thing, you're out for a while. I would like to see Konami do some stuff with Castlevania again, like you kind of hinted at, Doxy. There's some really cool options there too, but
as long as there's Lords of Shadow 3.
I have not intently bought or paid, well, same thing, play a Castlevania game in a very long time. Actually, I think the last one was Symphony of the Night on Xbox 360 when that was out there, which is a great fucking game. It's a beautiful, awesome game. But they haven't done anything with that license to me in so long.
Yeah.
It's too bad.
I was expecting to see more stuff at E3 on Castlevania.
Yeah. I would hope that, and TGS would have been a good time to show anything if it was there too, because it is obviously a Japanese company, so why not show off their properties that might get some people back into it? But it appears, I don't think there's anything. I think we're just going to be sad. The good news is there's lots
waiting
of
for
games,
Bloodstain, right?
Yeah. I'll
that'll
check
hold
out
us
Bloodstain.
over, at least, for sure, for a little while.
Yeah,
Right.
as long as it's nothing like what's going on with all of Inafune's stuff. Man, that went to a train wreck. That's a topic for another day, I think. But Mighty Number 9 is now delayed, right?
Till January, yeah.
And that game was supposed to be out
I
this
downloaded
month.
the demo. I just haven't played it yet.
Try and get some of that in. I want to hear about this because I've heard that it is nothing like the concept art, and I've heard some
Nice.
shaky things, and that scares me, of course. So,
Glad I spent that money 2.5 years ago or whatever it was.
someday you'll get a game, Brian.
That's
Someday.
right. Yeah, it's gonna be like oh shoot, what was that game that everyone they were like, oh, it's gonna be like Final Fantasy Tactics, and everyone's like, yeah, and they all plunk their money down, and then they come back like they're like, oh yeah, by the way, it's not coming out this year, it's gonna come out next year, and it's gonna be this PvP game that is not the game you bought.
Oh, what we advertised.
Yeah.
And they're like, you're gonna get a game. You paid for a game. You're gonna get a game. You're like, but that's not what I paid for.
Yeah.
And they're like, oh well. You're like,
Yeah, it just goes to show and I saw that article too. I think Kotaku did a really good breakdown of it. And it just the very volatile nature of crowdfunding still, because Kickstarter can't, as a company, it's tough to step in and be like, hey, this is what you need to do on every single project. And as a backer, you're not, that's what you are. You're not buying a product necessarily. You're backing a creator of a product.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, some creators can do whatever the hell they want.
yeah.
I feel like there are going to be new laws and stuff made regarding crowdfunding.
Yeah.
Like,
I think
there's got to be eventually, because people are going to get in such an uproar about it that, like, there's going to be violence. You know what I mean?
And we've talked about, like, when the old farts that don't really understand what's going on die out, or we start electing newer, younger leaders. I think you'll start to see that for sure. But I think part of the problem too is we don't look at all of the cases that are out there. I think that it's usually the most extreme, like a game raises $100,000 and then they walk off without making a game. Like, yeah, that's a very extreme, very shitty case. But there's a lot of gray area in between. It's like, well, you told me you were going to make this game, but now you're making some other game that isn't even close to what you told me you were making with my money.
Yeah.
Where do I stand as a person that put maybe $30, maybe $1,000 towards that game.
Right.
What if Star Citizen turned into only a first-person shooter now?
Is Star Citizen the one where you can like buy ships with real money?
Yes, you can buy
Yep.
$10,000 spaceships.
Yeah.
Virtual
Okay.
spaceships.
Have we talked about this ever?
I don't think we've really broken it down.
Because I only just learned about this like a month ago.
Wow.
Yeah,
I don't
really?
know how. I don't know how it got by me, but it did. And that
Welcome
was
to
the thing that I wanted
2015,
talk
Doxy.
about. Yeah, it's a thing that I wanted to talk about as soon as we started talking about it. I think it was on my stream. I was talking because I have a friend that has a pretty nice ship, I guess. But like, there's just no gameplay. Like, you can walk onto his ship and see his like fish tanks and shit.
Yeah, like the game
Oh.
looks incredible. There's a lot that they have planned, but there's still like a slow drip of content, and it's hard to even call it content. Like, they have the hangar you can walk around in. I believe that they started working on a first-person shooter module.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Yeah, it shows a lot of promise. Like, it looks great, but that is like the embodiment of why I would wait for that game to come to market first.
Yeah.
Right.
100%.
So, I bet you we could probably fill an hour talking about Star Citizen.
Yeah, probably.
So we may have to revisit that topic because I do want to
Okay.
talk about that.
Yeah, totally.
But the good news with Konami not releasing any games with their expensive licenses is we have other games. So right now, there's Kitty.
Like the
It's
kitty
a fucking
game.
cat parade in my house right now.
They're all
Jeez
stars. They
Louise.
want to be superstars. No big deal. So we have games coming up. Two big games that are coming up are Call of Duty and Rainbow Six Siege. The previous gen ports of Call of Duty will not have single player, and Rainbow Six Siege will not
Right.
have single player in any respect. So I thought we could chat a little bit about if a game has a proper focus on one mode or another. We have plenty of single player only games, right? Who's to say we can't have a multiplayer only game? So Brian, I want to kind of understand your thought process. Like, what does it mean for a Call of Duty player on last gen that may play only the single player stuff?
So I guess that's the thing. Like, I mean, so let me be clear. I'm totally cool with having a game that is focused on one or the other. Like, I'm totally fine with, Team Fortress 2 doesn't have a single player. Battlefield 2 didn't have a single player. These are both games that I own and spent a lot of hours into each of them, even though they didn't have a single player. Now, I'm normally a single player person. So, but to limit on one gen or the other, I'm wondering, like, to me, that tells me that they really don't care about the single player at all. Because that now they don't want to take the time to add it to the previous gen game. So I understand the focus is on multiplayer in the Call of Duty universe, but these individuals don't, I mean, those aren't lesser systems. I mean, power wise they are, but just doesn't have $400 or $350 to upgrade to the next gen doesn't mean that they should get lesser of a game.
Okay.
In my opinion.
All right. I have to stop you here. I have to disagree with you. I think that I'm not gonna fucking, I don't know. I'm not gonna try to make a fucking single player amazing cinematic heavy game for the fucking Super Nintendo. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna sound a little bit like a PCMR shitbag here for a minute, but like, I feel like since technology is advancing, since we have the ability to make these beautiful, amazing, like in-game dynamic fucking, I can't think of the word that I'm thinking, or okay, whatever, fucking, we have the ability to make beautiful, amazing things happen in these games, and I don't want last gen systems to hold back my single player experience. The end. Like, we live in
$50 though.
What do you mean?
They still want $50 for it.
Really? For the previous gen game? I don't think that's okay. I don't think that's okay at all. I think that if you're missing the campaign, they should not be charging $50 at all. But I'm totally 100% okay with them not getting the campaign, because I want the campaign to be as pretty and like limitless as possible.
Brian is just stuck.
Yeah, he's super gone. We were totally talking about this in Skype before the call too. Or well, you guys were about his connection.
Yeah, he has a great connection.
Oh,
30 megs.
Here, no.
Oh, he's.
Oh, wait.
Oh.
You look adorable in your freeze frame. Oh, bye.
Oh,
Bye.
Brian.
What?
What?
Ah!
I actually heard you guys talking about me. No, why is my webcam not showing up? Oh, there we go.
Awesome.
Oh, looks like we have our intro. I can hear you. Hello.
I heard you guys talking about me.
Oh, God.
All right. So I also wanted to read so we can just keep right on rolling.
Right.
Yeah.
I wanted to read part of the blog post. This is what I was looking for. So excuse me, I was staring off. I was listening to the conversation because I think you guys, if you want to continue, definitely feel free to. But
I think we will.
here's, I have a feeling this will be a heated conversation. The Black Ops 3 PS3, this is straight from the Call of Duty blog, excuse me. Black Ops 3 PS3 and Xbox 360 versions will feature multiplayer and zombies only, not campaign. The reasoning is this is the problem I have with it. It's very superfluous and feels like it is a press release, which is what it is, but they could have had a dev go into it a little bit more. Somebody on the design team being like, this is why we can't do this. It basically just says the ambitious scope of the 1 to 4 player co-op campaign design of the PS4, Xbox One, and PC versions could not be faithfully recreated on an old generation hardware. They basically say we want to put forth the best option we can. So there's pros and cons to me. I'm actually right in the middle on this. Because I have a PS4 and Xbox One, I guarantee it's swaying my decision, like my opinion of it. It's like, oh, that's fine. No big deal. I'm going to pay $60 for it anyway, and I'm going to play it on these new consoles. The fact that it has multiplayer, fine. If it was multiplayer only, that would be a ripoff at $50. Multiplayer with their maps, and that's it. The fact that it has zombies helps a little bit. And the realization that I forgot entirely that the campaign is 1 to 4 player co-op throughout the entire thing. Drop in, drop out they have these operators, which are kind of, in my preview of it, I kind of liken them to MOBA heroes. Because they do have different abilities, and they can greatly alter the course of a match or level just based on the person that's using them. So, hi, honey.
Hi, honey.
Everyone says hi, honey. So the fact that it is 2 game modes is a little bit better to me, but there's still not that experience for the people that, like myself, I would play through the campaign, and I will. You know, even if it's solo, if it's co-op, because friends have it, cool. But I would like a solo campaign. And I like, even if it sucks, Battlefield 3 is a great example. Campaign sucked. I still played through it. All the Call of Duties, I played through the campaign.
I love the Call of Duty campaigns. I love them.
Yeah, it usually tells a cool story. And Black Ops in general, tells to me some of the most interesting stories. Treyarch, as the developer, has told some of the most interesting stories.
Sure.
Agreed.
So I think it sucks. I think 50 is still probably too steep. I think 40 for those 2 modes would be perfect. I
agree. If there was a price reduction on that, they better fucking do something about that. That's not fair. That people are gonna not get the campaign and have to pay full price.
Yeah. I think this is gonna burn some people. It has a 2 out of 5 star rating on their. I don't know why they have star ratings on their posts on their blog. Yikes! Not a good idea.
Yeah, that's a really good idea.
Knowing the Call of Duty community, but it is a 2 out of 5 with 21 ratings, so it's a little low sample size. But
all right, so here's my issue. This has nothing to do with being able to get the most juice out of the single player campaign and to have the best possible experience. This is, to me, a cash grab. This is punishing people who do not have the financial ability to make it to the next platform, to tax them essentially for not being able to make it to PS4, Xbox One. This is in order to and it's not even to incentivize them. If they had said, okay, it's $30, but all you get is multiplayer and zombies, even $40, I kind of like, all right, well, I don't like it, but okay.
Yeah.
Then maybe that would be a way to incentivize their player base to move to the next gen consoles. This is taxing them and penalizing them for not moving forward. This is pure and simple Activision taking money from people who may not have a financially feasible way of getting to the next generation of consoles.
What if
This
they
is
were
why everybody
to?
should have a PC. Just saying. Just saying.
What if they were to offer, and this would not surprise me one bit, if I'm sure retailers will do something, because this is going to spark some stuff. We're still 2 months, I think, or maybe a month and a half from this game, November something.
Yeah.
November 23rd?
Comes out around my birthday every year.
So if they did some sort of buy this game, upgrade for $10 to the next gen edition, or currently I know Best Buy is running something like you trade in your Xbox 360, you can get a $75 coupon. Basically, it works out to getting an Xbox One for $200, which is pretty damn reasonable.
That's really a good deal.
Yeah, I have an Xbox One. I thought about just taking in my Xbox 360 and just getting the second Xbox One for the bedroom or something stupid,
Yeah.
But that's obviously I'm in a different position than a lot of people, especially people in this comment section of this blog post. I don't. The conspiracy theorist in me thinks somebody at Treyarch said, "Hey, this is going to be really tough to do everything we want to do in this one game on one disc or on maybe 2 discs on the previous gen, and still be able to deliver it a good experience across everything."
Sure.
And then somebody in Activision's PR or marketing said, wait a minute, I got it. Here's what we'll do. We'll just carve out this little piece here that nobody cares about anyway. And they said, we're just looking out for the players. We're just doing what's right because we're going to deliver the best experience on the next gen. Current gen, whatever. Next gen is still PC. But it doesn't sit well with me in this instance. In the case of Rainbow Six, I just played the beta. Actually, it's still going on through tomorrow. So if you have a key or if you want a key on Xbox One, I've got extras. I will put this up as soon as possible, and I'll tweet out possibly some keys. I have two left. Or if either of you want them, I should probably edit this if you guys want them.
Thanks a lot, Joe.
But Rainbow Six, I almost said Vegas. Rainbow Six Siege doesn't have a single player either.
Right.
Now, for a $60 game, have either of you been able to get any time in to that?
No. But I hear amazing things about Rainbow Six. I hear that it's like an amazing game. I've never played any of them.
So
Right.
I'm kind of weirded out by it. Like there's something there that just doesn't rub me the right way. I actually like it quite a bit, like the 5-on-5. So there's 2 modes that you can do in the beta. 5-on-5, which is what I played in the alpha a long time ago.
Right.
Like 2 months ago.
It's a long time, video game time.
It really is, because actually this game's come a long, long way. 5 versus 5, you can kind of breach from anywhere. There's special operators, much like Call of Duty, that have special abilities and can change the battlefield and all this cool stuff. The destructibility is awesome. You can fire through thin walls. You can blow up thin walls. You can reinforce the walls to make them thicker. Like, there's a lot of really cool stuff in a very small space on these maps. The time to kill is extremely low, so it makes the matches very cool. And actually, my favorite feature is that there's no music. And I can talk about this a little bit more in the games we played stuff. But the other mode that they showcased was Terrorist Hunt, which can be done solo, or you can matchmake a team of 5. You can do 3 difficulty levels and take out up to 30 terrorists that are in a location, in the same map. It's basically the 5 versus 5, but 5 versus 30 AI dum-dums in most cases. Like, they're not most brilliant, but they have different types, like an ambusher and all this stuff. I can't say that those 2 modes sell me on a $60 game.
Sure.
It depends so much on how much content there is going to be outside of those 2 modes.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather not have a campaign and have some really fucking fun multiplayer than have a shittily put together or shittily ported, optimized whatever campaign.
Yeah.
That just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. Like, I think it's 100% reasonable to charge $60 for a game that you're going to get hundreds of hours out of, if if you have like lots of good content and like really, really just fun multiplayer modes. I don't think there's anything wrong with leaving a campaign off of something if it's gonna be a bad experience, you know? Like I don't.
Sure.
Yeah, I can agree with that.
I do think that video games are too expensive. uh, and I think that $60 is a whole lot, but I don't think that it's because there's no campaign. I just think that that's a lot of fucking money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, I mean,
If
I
that's
think
what
you're
other
right.
video games cost, then yeah, fucking charge that, I guess. Whatever.
Yeah, so I mean, I think there's more than a few things going on. I mean, I think you're right. I mean, if they can charge $60 and get people to pay $60, then they're going to do it because
Totally.
we're talking, like $100 million to make this game or whatever.
Yeah.
If they can sell it for 60, they will. But no, I totally agree. I think and I think we've already touched on this before, but I mean, there's just the value proposition for games is so different compared to any other multimedia right now in the space that we live in, right? So movies, books, TV all have completely different value propositions than video games.
Mm-hmm.
We can spend, my wife and I go to the theater on a Saturday night, and between, like the popcorn and the drinks and the tickets, it's like, $30-40, and you're like, well, that was 2 hours for $40. Oh, okay. Now I buy a game for $60 and I get 20 some hours out of it, and I'm like, I'm mad now.
Yeah.
By the way, that's my mad gamer voice.
Nailed it. Nailed it.
It reminded me of Joe and Mac.
But it's just for some reason it is a completely different value proposition, and I think, Doxy, you're totally hitting the nail on the head. Like, if you play a multiplayer only game and you get 100 hours out of it and you enjoy that time, I mean, sure, you probably gonna end up frustrated if you're in a first person shooter. At some point you're going to be frustrated with it, but if you get 100 hours out of it for $60, I mean,
that's an insane value proposition. 100%.
Right. I mean, yeah, absolutely. But I feel like there's also something to be said for, like a team that comes out and says, well, we didn't think our single player was good enough, so we made up a multiplayer component. We hope you like it. Like, no, I don't want that. Like, just make the single player better, and then I'll be happy with that. So I think that there is
asking a lot, bro. It is. It just is. There's a lot. Like, they have to hire writers for a story. They have to hire actors for NPCs if there's NPCs. They have to fucking program all that shit. They have to have cutscenes. There's they have to have a dynamic soundtrack. There's all kinds of things that go into a campaign that, like, if it's not done right, you're gonna be pissed off and be like, I paid for this. Just leave it the fuck out. Just leave it out. And deliver a solid fucking multiplayer experience.
Right. Don't shoehorn in these things is what I'm saying.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were like, make it better. And I'm like, that's much easier said than done.
Right. I meant, I think we've all seen some of those games, like, maybe not in the past couple of years, because there's been a lot of shitty games this past, in the last few years also. But I was thinking, like, towards the end of the last console cycle where, like, they were like, okay, well, we have the single player component and we didn't know if it was going to be okay, so we shoehorned in a multiplayer component too for you. And you're like, why did you do this to the single player game? And really they did it so that you wouldn't sell it back to GameStop. Instead of shoehorning in a multiplayer component, just make the single player better, and then we don't have to sell it back because we enjoyed the game.
Okay, my fault. I totally misinterpreted.
Oh, no. I miscommunicated. It's cool.
BioShock 2 is the most guilty of that.
I have never played the multiplayer in BioShock 2.
It was fun for like 15 minutes.
That's amazing to me because that game seems like a treasure trove of multiplayer possibilities. Like, there could be some really, really cool interactions that happen with multiplayer, be it co-op or fucking versus. Like,
yep.
Be really cool.
It could have.
It's weird. It's weird that they
could've.
would screw the pooch on that.
It was
One of the
bad.
Uncharted games did that too. It was terrible.
Yeah, I think Uncharted 3 had multiplayer.
Which is crazy because they all had really solid fucking single player experiences.
But then you also look at a
In
game
my
like
opinion.
Last of Us had a phenomenal single
God,
player, and then the
so
multiplayer
good.
was really good too.
was
Underrated,
it?
but very good. Very underrated, but a totally different take that I don't think got the recognition it deserved, or the like widespread adoption. Like I think it got recognition. I think almost everybody that played a couple of matches and kind of got the hang of it was like, this is really fucking cool because it's really different. It's third person.
Right.
It's a little bit more stealthy, and if you've played, you know the hand-to-hand combat's just brutal in that game. So when you take out another player, or you get taken out, it's a very like Jesus. Like you don't feel great about it, but you're like, oh, okay, well, next one, I guess. So I don't know. I think that's like it for the news, honestly. I feel like there's some other I'm sure there's other things, but those were kind of the big things that I thought were interesting topics for the week. So I think we'll go right into Brian. What have you been playing?
Right. So I was on my gamecation last week. So we played a ton of board games, tabletop games that I have not yet had the experience playing. I kickstarted a game called A Chaotic Life. And so we started playing it, and the concept's pretty cool. Like everyone is playing from this deck of cards, and it's essentially one life. So it starts with a baby card, and then they move up to like child and teen, and different like events can happen to them, and then those events then affect the rest of the game. Except it just got boring, and we kind of were stuck as a child and couldn't find the teen card. So we were kind of just stuck there, and it wasn't very fun. And we did find on it was funny because we looked on Board Game Geek, and even they understand and said, yeah, the rules kind of it didn't work out like we thought it would. But I did get an email. They're looking for people to play test new game rules, so I might give that a shot. And so hopefully, we were just talking about developers that they listen to your community and stuff. So that's in there.
That's the right way to do it. That's nice.
Right. We played Exploding Kittens, which is super fun. Super
I don't
easy.
like it.
Really?
I don't like it.
Why not?
The notion
Why
of
not?
kittens
Floating
exploding.
kittens. Yeah. So
Oh.
you know me too well.
Yeah, I was
I'm
like,
just
I
kidding.
get it.
I know
already know.
nothing about this game. Tell us about
Yeah.
it.
Oh, okay. So, so basically you play cards, and at the end you draw a card. If you draw a card, that's an exploding kitten, and they're all super adorable. Like there's a kitten in a warp core cooling, and all of a sudden the next thing is a spaceship blowing up, or a kitten batting around a grenade. Or with a nuclear button, like nuclear war button, like a nuclear missile button. So you get that and you blow up, and you start with a diffuse card, and they're all like really cute, funny diffuse cards. You can diffuse it with cat snuggles or
Aw.
something like that.
Aw.
So the whole thing is to not blow up, and then there are different cards that do different things, and there's a safe for work one and a not safe for work one, and these not safe for work ones are very not safe for work, including like one where you're getting carried away with a penis balloon, where it's literally a guy with a balloon and it's connected to his penis and he's being carried off, and that's how you skip a turn. So
I already
the not
like
safe
this
for work
game.
one. Yeah. Oh no, it's great. And the best part is it's one of those games where you don't like everyone plays around, and by the end of that round, and the game takes 7 to 10 minutes, you understand the game completely and you play again, and everyone's just laughing because you're like reading the cards and like laughing hysterically at them, and you're like want to show everyone the cards that you have, but you don't want to show them because people could steal your cards, and you're like, all right, okay, I'm gonna play this because I want to show everybody this card. This is hilarious. So that game is just it was just a blast. What else do we play? I played Marvel Dice Masters, which is a 2-player game, and that game is just so well designed. It's like a Dominion where you have dice instead of Dominion, where you're taking cards and building a deck of your own. You have dice on the board, and you're building a bag full of dice that you then roll, and you can have them be different, X-Men or Avengers or Ultron, that sort of thing. So that was a hugely fun game. So we just played just a Werewolf Daybreak. So it's like I don't know if you guys ever play like Mafia or something with like a group of people, or played Werewolf.
Town
It's
of Salem.
yeah, kind of like Town of Salem, right? Exactly. It's like that. So everyone has you look at your card, you're like, okay, I'm a werewolf or a townsperson or a witch, and then you put all the cards in the center, and then everyone closes their eyes. And the best part is they made an app for the game, so the app tells you exactly what to do.
Nice.
Witch, open your eyes, do this, and you're like, all right, okay, I do this now. And then it's the best is like when you're a werewolf and other people are werewolves, and you open your eyes, you kind of do the head nod, you're like, yeah, we're gonna kill some people tonight. And then and basically then you just lie to everybody, which is fabulous.
Yeah, I love that kind of game. I love it.
Yeah, it's so well put together, and the cards are pretty fantastic. So it's just a fun game. And then we finished, the reason we got all together on Saturday was to play Artemis. I don't know if you guys have ever played Artemis before. It is a Starship Bridge simulator. So it's like being on the Enterprise.
Took that too literally. Sorry. I thought you meant like a
no.
bridge constructor.
No,
like
not
Hollow
sitting there
Bridge or
matchsticks.
Yeah. I was like, I don't.
We sat there. We ate a lot of popsicles.
Poly Bridge in space.
Yeah. We ate a lot of popsicles and made bridges with them with glue and popsicles. But essentially, it's like being on the Starship Enterprise bridge. Someone is the helm. Someone is comm. Someone is science. Someone is weapons, and someone is engineering. And there's somebody who plays the captain and doesn't really have a station, and you fly around, and there are bad guys, and you're telling, okay, engineering, I need more energy to phasers so we can shoot these guys. And it's really cool. Like you put it up on a projector on the screen so you can see like out the front viewport, and you get to play like a giant spaceship.
That sounds
It's pretty
pretty
cool.
baller.
Yeah, it is. And it's all done by one guy. One guy made the entire game.
Imaginative fellow.
Yeah, it's fabulous. You can buy the the server client on Steam for like $40, and it's a fantastic game if you can get people together to do it.
Awesome. That sounds
Yeah.
really cool. I meant to look into that.
And then lastly, I'm playing Might and Magic Hero 7 for review. And I was telling Joe before the show started, it was like they were like, okay, we know exactly who our market is, and we are just going to make an awesome game for those people. And it is. Like, I haven't played a Might and Magic game since 3, but
yeah.
but it is like going home. It is like not like the game Gone Home, but it's like going home again. A game that you've known from your past. It hits all the nostalgic buttons. The character designs that they have for the creatures is fantastic. They're well drawn, well animated, and since you're looking at them a lot because you're in battle quite often, they just did a fabulous job in all the right places. So if you've never played one of these games, though, they don't do a lot to help you figure out what to do.
Yeah. There's not even a crash course. It's just like go.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's exactly.
You have to be pretty well versed in fantasy to like do well right away.
Yeah, there's no, like you said, there's no tutorial. There's no hand holding. It just says, you've played this game before, right? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Knock yourself out.
Interesting. Terrifying.
Is the art style still all pixel arty and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, they've done a lot to up-res it.
Right.
Yeah, but I mean, like the air elementals, I mean, you can like see individual like swirls of air inside their body and stuff. So
Fun.
yeah, they did some really good art. Like the art in this game is, I mean, The overworld art is still kind of, it's a little janky. They could have done a little better on some of that, but the in battle art is fantastic, just ridiculously good.
Hype. You are making me want to buy this game right now.
Yeah, I saw it on the Steam front page and I got kind of excited. I was
It's-
telling Brian before the podcast started. I got like instant nostalgia. Like, oh,
They do Heroes of Might and Magic bundles kind of often,
yeah, they do.
where you can get just all of the games for kind of a huge price, but like it's worth it because it's a lot
Yeah.
of games that you're gonna put a lot of fucking hours into.
Yeah.
But
I mean,
that's
I just scratched the surface of this game. I've played one campaign mission. That was like 4 hours.
Oh, I
Jeez.
want to play. I want to play. I want to play.
Yeah, it's good though. So that's about it for me.
All right, Doxy, you weirdo. What have you been playing?
I want to play. I finally played PT. Well, really, Joe played and I watched. No, Michael played and I watched. No, Michael played and I watched, and it was terrifying. It was so fucking scary, and I audibly screamed a lot of times. And okay, so you need to understand the way our house is set up for a second here. So you walk in the front door of our house, and it's this big, wide open living room, right? Except for there's like a wall directly to your right at the door, and like a bunch of space off to the left. And we have our TV up against that left wall, and then we have an L-shaped couch that like kind of makes the entrance to our living room almost like a hallway, except for a really wide hallway, I guess.
Right.
And then there's a hallway that goes off to the right too. So like we had all of that behind us while we were playing.
God, no.
Yeah, I don't know. We have it set up so that you get maximum scares out of scary games and movies in our house. And like it wasn't on purpose or anything, but like it made me rethink the layout of our fucking but to be honest though, the puzzles were awful. They were really
Yeah. Oh
bad.
yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
They were stupid. like there were things that I would never fucking think to do. And like we basically had to have a walkthrough open almost the entire time. We figured out some of the stuff on our own, but like I don't know, the jump scares though, we had a lot of fun even though it was stupid.
Part of me wonders if those puzzles weren't by design, though, because if you remember, it's a playable teaser, so it's part of it was to figure out the big mystery at the end,
Right.
which, you know, that one streamer, which I still love watching that video of her
Yeah.
freaking out, like, oh my god, it's actually a Silent Hill game,
Yeah.
and oh my god, it's Guillermo del Toro, and Kojima, and Norman Reedus.
Yeah, I was just gonna say I about wanted to cry as soon as I saw Norman Reedus. I was like, he's the perfect fucking protagonist for a game.
Yeah,
Silent Hill.
he'd be
like-
able to nail it.
Yeah.
So having
But anyway, you ask your question.
having played that, does that get you excited at all for Allison Road?
Yeah, I already was excited, to be honest. Also, I haven't played Soma yet. I've been wanting to. I have it, and I'm like ready to play it, and I haven't played it yet, and I'm really, really looking forward to that. There was another thing that I wanted to talk about, and I don't remember what it was.
Another game?
Yeah.
Trying to think of what we had. You'd mentioned it as soon as you...
Jotun?
Jotun.
Yep, Jotun. I played Jotun last night, and it's awesome. It's fucking incredible. People were kind of shitting on the art style, though, in my chat. Like,
I love the
Michael,
art style.
Yeah, me too. The first area that you play is like a forest area, and the interactive stuff. It looks like you can tell that it was hand drawn with like a pencil and shit.
Yeah.
And they didn't seem to really like that, but I loved it. I thought it was really cool.
Interesting.
It honestly it did not match the backgrounds very well, but I still thought that it was like a cool mechanic. I liked it. I don't know, but it's brutal. It's hard. I got to do 2 bosses that I hadn't done before. Well, one of them I died to once and then killed it. The other one I died to like 5 or 6 times before I
Wow.
finally killed it. and it's so good. Like it feels so good to kill those fucking
Yeah.
those huge fucking bosses. They're it's incredible. You get all these like magic spells that you only get 2 uses of, and you can refill them at one point called Mimir. It's like a man in this like pool of water.
Oh, is it
I
like
don't know
the
how
face
to.
coming out of the
Yeah,
water like
yeah,
that?
yeah. He'll refill your health and he'll refill your spell uses, but you only get one of those per level, and
Ooh.
so you have to use it really wisely. And there's like okay, so there's different areas that have 2 levels in them each, and then the boss, and you have to go into the 2 levels and like figure out the puzzle to get the runes that you need to open the door to the boss to go
Sure.
and beat the boss. And yeah, it's really satisfying to like be able to scratch that itch where it's like, oh god, the voice acting is so good.
Oh,
It's
okay.
really good.
Okay.
I saw that
Oh,
going
it's-
one of 2 ways.
No, it's beautiful. The language, I don't know what language it is, but I want to fucking learn it, and I want to speak dirty things to Michael in it because it is amazing. And like it's just like the voice actress that they got to read has just a really soothing, beautiful voice, and oh, I love it.
Yeah,
Some
that's
of that
going on the wish
information I
list.
did not know. I did not need. Mm-mm.
On a need-to-know basis. I did
Right.
not.
Here.
Did not.
I will
Mm-mm.
talk about my poop, my boogers, and my sex life with you guys, and you will deal with it, okay? But yeah, like it just like it was so satisfying to like have all this sweet mythology that you're learning to like you're learning about all the gods and like this woman's story, which is like it's kind of a shallow story. To be honest, but it's still good. Like it's not a bad story by any means. Like there's no like weird plot twists that I've come across that just like didn't fit or anything. And like it's all being told in this language with like English subtitles. I think it's just done really well, and I like it. And I look forward to beating it if I can beat it. It's
Awesome.
really hard.
Yeah, I've heard. I was watching a podcast earlier on YouTube through the Funhouse guys were playing it kind of in the background, and they were getting distracted. Like that's how I can
Yeah.
tell that a game that they're playing is pretty good because they'll actually like put their time into it. And they kind of figured out about halfway through their little like hour-long show, about 30 minutes in, they were like, "Oh, it's Dark Souls. It's like 2D Dark Souls.
Yeah.
And you have to do a lot of rolling and dodging, and you only get those."
A lot of defensive play for sure.
Yeah, so I think I might have to jump in. If I know it's not
It's
Dark
so
Souls, I
good.
might like it.
It's so good. It's a little easier than Dark Souls.
Yeah.
But it's still really hard.
It does look so cool, though. I really like the art. If nothing else, I'll probably have to watch either you or someone else play through it on Twitch or just look at
I could
the
probably
audio.
get you a key.
If there's time. I've been playing so much and haven't no time.
Yeah, just let me know. Well, I would tell them that you were going to review it, so you'd have to review it.
Yeah, that's fine. I could review it. Our site doesn't hit a lot of... I wouldn't even call it a small title because it's really big in the PC community, but we just don't hit a lot of that stuff.
My kidneys.
Yeah, I had to reach for the Weaponographist, even though I really, really liked it. I just had to reach out, got a key, and there was... I asked my editor if we were going to cover it, and he's like, I don't...
Yeah, I don't even know
do
what
whatever
that
you
game
want.
is.
So yeah, have you played anything else?
No.
No? All
I
right.
have been working and sick the past.
Oh, that's right. You were sick. Feeling better?
Yeah, a lot better. A lot
Good.
better. I keep waking up with like really bad allergies too. So, Benadryl for our next stream, maybe.
Oh,
We'll see.
Yeah.
I love BenaDoxy. Episode title. So I'm
What
gonna
have you been playing, Joe?
entirely too much. So I've been playing. I think last time we did this, I was not able to speak about FIFA. Right?
Yeah.
It's the best
Yep.
soccer game I've played in years. It's really, really good. Soccer because I'm from the United States. For anybody else, it's football.
Football.
It's phenomenal. I never really got into the Ultimate Team stuff. I don't know if you've seen on Twitch. If you ever look up FIFA, it's almost always in the top 10 games, probably. Maybe top
Right.
5 even. And I never got why. So I would tune in. People were playing Ultimate Team all the time. They were opening these stupid card packs. It was a lot like CSGO, where they just open crates all day, and I didn't understand it. Once I got into this mode, they show you how to play, and from the get-go, it's like this is the core mechanics. Like you have to balance chemistry with talent, with your players' nationalities and their current actual clubs in real life. But you're building like a dream team, and you start in like the lower 50s, and you got to build up to the best team possible. And it sounds really stupid if you're just playing the card game, but then you actually get to jump into one of the best mechanically sound soccer games in probably ever. Like the way that the ball physics are independent of the players. The ball doesn't stick to a player. I can let go of the ball, do some crazy move and get around another defenseman and do some insane stuff that I was not able to do in last year's game or 2 years ago. Maybe that's skill, maybe that's them revamping some things, but I really had a good time with it.
Probably
It
that.
sounds like a really hard thing to program.
Oh my, I can't even imagine. Like that's what some of these sports titles I always wonder, like, how can you keep making things interesting? But at this point, that's all they can do. They can't revamp everything, right? You can't
Right.
put in a brand new physics system, but you can kind of tweak the ball physics. You can change little things here and there. So there's a lot of small tweaks that I really appreciated. And I even went back and played some FIFA 15, and it felt like very sterile, very robotic. Like it was a good soccer game, but it was not. It didn't feel like it had personality. This game nails a lot of things. I actually gave it a 5 out of 5 in the review. Like I thought it was great.
That's awesome.
That is by no means a perfect score. Dear God, don't comment and tell me it's a perfect. It's not. It's not a perfect game. There are some issues here and there, but there are so few and far between, and the game excels in so many other areas that it's phenomenal. I just had a great time, and I'm not even a huge football fan. Like I don't watch Premier League. I'll watch the Women's World Cup. I watch the World Cup. I'll watch a Premier League game if a couple of my friends that are into it want to watch, or if I know there's a big match on, something like that. If nothing else is on, really. If American football's not on, maybe I'll check it out. But if American football's on, sorry.
The one thing that I think about when I think of sports games is how buggy they always are. There's always so many fucking bugs in sports games, and it can be fucking hilarious. But
so that is a great segue for me. So thanks for the setup, because that brings me to NBA Live 16.
Ooh.
So I've never been.
Don't do it, Joe.
NBA,
Don't do it.
I already played it, and I already had to review
Oh.
it, and this was a 3 out of 5 for me, because it wasn't abysmal. It was better than last year, but there's just some things, like I should show you. Maybe I'll make the episode picture if I can, like a thumbnail. The scan of my face is horrifying.
oh god, I have to see it.
I
Yeah,
have
we
to
do.
see it.
Yeah, we.
Okay, so right here, I'm going to signal to myself to impose the image, but I should see if I can send it to you guys here.
You got to do something crazy to signal.
That'll do.
You have to do it.
No, you did.
I was
I
was
got
showing
it.
you how to
It's
do
done
it.
now. No, it's
Now
done
you-
now.
Fine.
So long story short, the game, it's a decent basketball game at best. And then there are there's a lot of depth in the Rising Star mode where you get to play as you or your created character.
The what?
I look like an alien. It's pretty cool. There's just so many things. So there's an instance where a player went up to block me. I pump faked, brought the ball back down. That player that was trying to block me hit the ground and had his hands at his side, like recovering from this. And the physics is actually pretty decent. But then I go up for my shot, and the ball gets swatted out of right back in my face and down the court. There's also a scoring system that doesn't it makes sense, but it doesn't seem to be. I won't say it's not fair. I'll just say that it has it doesn't match up a lot of times. You'll have a man you're guarding, and it will switch that man, and then the guy that you just switched to will score, and you'll lose points. Like he might be driving to the basket, and you might be on the perimeter, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, you got to cover this guy. The guy they run, he just dunked. So sorry, dude. That's 3 points you just lost on your performance rating, and your performance rating dictates how many points you get to put back into your player. So it's basically
Weird.
yeah, and it feels like the game's kind of out. I wouldn't say out to get you, but working against you in a lot of, I have maybe 2 good games. You started at 50, and I ended up in 30s and 40s a couple times just because I would try to take some shots to make up the deficit, but then it would call me a ball hog. So then I would pass to my teammate, and they wouldn't shoot the damn ball on an open look, and then I'd get there was just a lot of problems that didn't make that. It resulted in a lot of yelling at the screen, and that sucked. That was really bad. So yeah, NBA Live. If I had to make a recommendation, the nice thing is there's another game. NBA 2K has had a good run for the past couple of years, so I would probably say check that out. I haven't played it, so I can't tell you, and I'm I'm not the biggest NBA fan in general, but in terms of games,
Right.
I can appreciate a good one. And this was middle of the road.
So Joe, I'm looking at this picture and I'm thinking like this would totally be you if this was an MMA game and you had been through like 60 matches and you had been pummeled in the face.
I
Yeah.
can't wait to see this picture. I can't look because I'm recording and it'll fuck everything up. But
But yeah,
see this
it's
picture.
it is something else. I
You
wish.
saying that the game worked against you reminded me of another game that I played.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel bad
Oh,
for
yeah.
not
Go ahead.
What?
Jump
talking
back in.
What's
about
that?
It's a web-based card game called Elements. Have you guys heard of it? It's
Mm-mm.
kind of like
No.
Magic the Gathering, but kind of like Hearthstone. Also, it's hard. It's hard to explain, but like you get your mana or quanta from pillars. So pillars are like lands in Magic, and those
Okay.
go into your deck, and you draw however many so that you have enough quanta to pay the quanta price of the creatures that you want to put out on the board. You also can have weapons. You can also have shields, and you can also have like other different permanent status cards. And that game pisses me off so bad that I want to fucking scream. And like often Mike does hear me scream. I don't even like realize that I'm doing it, but I'm like, oh, come on and shit. And he'll walk in and be like, what's going on? And I'm like, oh, did I yell again? But like, yeah, so I have this really awesome deck where the elements are, there's like a ton of different elements. You know how in Magic there's light, dark, for
Red.
like earth, fire,
Yeah,
and then blue.
mountain,
Like,
mountain,
yeah,
water.
I love
plains,
fucking Magic the Gathering, and I
swamp,
can't even fucking
forest.
think of how to label these. But anyway, so there's a ton more. I think there's like 12 elements in elements, and I do a life and air combination deck where I can summon creatures once I get my like I want to call it my featured creature out. And I know that I could stomp any fucking deck. I could, except for the draws that I get are either all creatures, all quanta, or all permanent fucking like status cards, and I don't get that equal peppering of all three types of cards ever. So I'm stuck on level 2 out of level 3 out of I want to say 5 or 6 levels, and it's so frustrating because like I know that my deck is solid, I know that I could stomp fucking anything, but like the draws that I get are just bad. And that's the thing with card games, is that sometimes your draws are going to be bad,
Yeah.
but 4 out of 5 times my draws are really, really bad. And I know that my deck is balanced really well with my quanta cards and like my creatures and so on and so forth, but
Ooh,
Yeah.
that game.
but it's so fucking fun too. It's really fun.
That's
And
so frustrating when that happens.
yeah, I don't know if they need to like tweak their RNG or what, but like I am always getting fucked on my draws. It sucks.
Yeah.
And I know it's not even observer bias, because the other night I was taking note of how many times I would get like too much quanta or not enough quanta, and it was seriously 4 out of 5 times I would get fucked. I did all the math, and I know that I could beat any of the decks that I come up against if I had ideal
Right.
draws.
Yeah, that stuff. If that were to happen to me, I would probably close the program and never go back. Possibly uninstall. Like
It's
entirely.
not an install thing. It's a browser based game.
Oh, well then I would
It's-
delete that fucking bookmark. Just so they get the point.
I can't help it though. I don't have enough friends that play Magic the Gathering to play Magic the Gathering with anybody, and like Elements has a single player that I can do all the time.
But it cheats you.
It does cheat me.
Sons of bitches.
Yeah. And also, I really love my Elements deck.
Yeah.
It's super satisfying to play and win with.
If it lets you win.
Oh, fuck yeah.
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 Fun. Let's see. So other new stuff I've been playing.
Sorry. Go.
No, you're
Your
fine.
turn.
I have been playing. I wouldn't call it a child's game, but I've been playing Skylanders, Superchargers, and I was fully prepared to think of it as a kid's game, and at its core, it kind of is, but it has this niche. Like there's a little bit of that humor. It's not like in the vein of like kids shows. If you go back and watch shows that we grew up on, you find like some things that are like a little risque humor. That's not really there, but there's just some genuinely pretty good writing and funny stuff.
Right.
And in terms of Toys to Life, like it's really fun. Like I'm having a good time getting through this game. The platforming sections are decent. The character movement's a little bit slow, but once you kind of accept it as, oh, that's just the way that they move, it's
Right.
really fun to move between like the two. I got the starter pack with this little hot streak car and 2 Skylanders, and one's like a fire dragon molten rock dude, and the other one's like a stealth elf, and they're so vastly different that it makes it really interesting especially when one, like if I was a little careless and one dies, switching over to the other one. I played with like the little fire dragon because I was, I'm a boy. I figured that was my guy. And he's really cool. He's like a little melee, like he punches the hell out of everything, which is like my character in Destiny, just punches everything. But this was pretty fun. And then I switched over to this stealth elf, and kind of once I got the hang of, she does this little decoy thing where she plants a turret and you can like scoot around. They go after the turret. You can get around them and distract or like get out of trouble. And she doesn't have like a general melee. She has like a little thorn Gatling gun she carries around. And she's really cool. She's actually become now my favorite character.
Yeah, I was gonna say that sounds like way better.
That sounds super dope.
Yeah, Brian is 1 polygon right now.
Yeah, he's
I don't think it's a focus
Like-
thing.
his skin and wall are the same color. He's just like a floating beard and hair for me right now.
It's like 2 dots for eyes and that's it. It's kind of terrifying.
All right, am I back or no?
No, not at all.
Not even a little bit.
Okay.
I'm gonna keep going because you're scaring
Just keep
me.
going. Just keep going because it's hilarious.
But like it's so dense. So my biggest fear was I only have a land vehicle, and there's like sections where you have to go, and it's like you need an air vehicle. Damn it, Brian. I almost thought nothing changed for a minute.
It's not. Yeah, I don't know why it's doing that. All right, whatever. Keep going. Keep going.
I'm betting it's Skype.
Yeah.
What was I?
Land vehicles.
Oh, so I have a land vehicle, right? And there's air and sea as well. And which immediately made me think this game was going to be Diddy Kong Racing. It's not, but I really wish it was. They had me really concerned that I wasn't going to get a lot of content, that I had to buy another vehicle to get this content. And that I was way off. This game is so long and so, not dense, but it's like content rich for just having one vehicle, that it's so worth I think the starter kit that I got retails at $79.99. And I can tell you it's worth it. Like, there's so much there that you can just have a lot of fun with. If you want a second player, you got to get a second car, which is honestly no big deal because I think they retail about $10, $12. And they usually go on sale around the holidays, so it's actually reasonably priced. And everything is really cool. Like the character that I have, the plastic characters, look.
There we go.
Oh, he was ending video. Look the same in the world. Like the art style is still that kind of plasticky. They look like true toys to life. Oh, he's not coming back at all.
Nope. It's not working. Oh well.
God, that's an insane amount of money for a game, though.
It is. It really is. But I do think that getting two characters basically.
Yeah, it's a built-in fucking collector's edition, I guess.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
characters
So
are
that's
nice.
pretty
Like,
cool.
I told Brian before the show started, like if it's a great game, this would be the perfect game for me if I had a younger kid to bring along for the ride and like play with, to sit them down in front of. Like there's nothing objectionable in it. There's some pretty funny humor, like I said. It's cute. And it's so long that I could, if I wanted to limit them to an hour a night, this thing would last them till the end of the year easily.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're gonna want to play it. And this is also the price range that if somebody says like, "Hey, I have this Skylanders thing, and their birthday's coming up. Like this is perfect. I could buy them 2 or 3 of them and still be fine." And I'm probably gonna spoil one of my friends that has kids with this thing and then send them toys every 6 months or something like that if we get them. But
That's really sweet, Joe.
oh,
Yeah.
thanks. But it's awesome. I was fully prepared to feel like I was too old to play it, and it like took me back into kid mode. I was like sitting cross-legged on my floor looking up at my TV last night playing it.
That's adorable.
That's awesome.
I realized what I was doing, and I was like, "Gee, you're almost 30 years old. Get up." And like,
It's time for chocolate milk.
yeah. It's time- and my wife like was taking a nap on the couch, and she woke up. She's like, "Let's go to bed." And I was like, "Just 1 minute." Still playing, but it's really fun. Like I still have a lot of content to go through. I'm on chapter 30, and there's like 50 chapters.
What?
And this is just like I said, I don't even have all the vehicles. Like there's 3 courses to go through on each stage. There's a lot more that I could be. I'm getting to the point where like to review it, I've got to start kind of getting through the damn thing. But like I could take my time, and this game would be probably 75 to 100 hours. Like there's so much there. Like you can just go
And
around.
it's fun the whole time.
Yeah. Because all you're doing is you're trying to build your character. Now, granted, there's not a ton of customization, but you're building those 2 characters you get, plus your vehicle gets upgrades too. And you can like find hats, and the hats give you better stats. Hats for stats. But it's I can't believe how much fun I'm having with it. Like I almost don't want it to end. Like it's pretty cool. It's fun.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited, like I said, that I might get to do Lego, because Lego was my jam growing up.
Which is more expensive than Skylanders.
Yeah, so that's $100, and I still don't know what actually comes with it. I may have to like
Three characters. I think it comes with Batman, Gandalf, and Wild Style.
Those are pretty badass.
awesome, to be fair.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
That's
totally.
Pretty awesome.
But the fact that it has like Back to the Future, Jurassic Park, and some other ones, Scooby Doo, don't care. Batman is the big one.
How can you
Whoa,
not care about
let's-
Scooby fucking Doo?
Let's go back to Scooby Doo not caring.
If measured against each other, Scooby Doo is the lowest on that totem pole for me.
Out of who else?
Batman.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure Lord of the Rings is part of it too.
Okay.
Back to the Future.
Okay.
I'm gonna say that one again. Back to the Future.
No, it's higher than that.
And Jurassic
Back
Park.
to the Tutor.
Ju-
Okay. Jurassic. Okay. All right. Back to the Future is bottom of the totem pole
Whoa!
for
Hey!
me. Yeah.
Whoa!
Yeah, Jurassic Park and Back to the Future are lower than Scooby Doo. I'm just gonna call it right.
Jurassic Park lower than Scooby Doo, really?
This is the last episode of the Homerow podcast because I can't be friends with these people.
Yeah, exactly. I was feeling the same way.
So I'm excited to play that. So to keep going, Skylanders is really good. I don't have a score like in my head yet, but it's pretty damn good. I've been playing more Destiny. I've been playing so much Destiny. The Taken King is really
Ain't
good.
even gonna get mad at you.
It makes that game.
People are raving.
It takes the game from like probably what I would say is a 3, at least to a 4. Like my site doesn't work on half points, but it'd probably be up towards a 4.5. Like the content is fresh. There is enough of a story to make me feel like they're really trying and they're really listening. Like they want to make this game work. And this is a huge step towards that. Like I still think it stands to say that this is Destiny's Reaper of Souls. Like it fixed everything that was shit, and they're still going through and fixing some things and tweaking some things. And they're very active on their Reddit. They're very active on their forums. They're very communicative. And Destiny has a really pretty shitty community at times. Like they will bitch about everything. If there's a gun that's too powerful and everybody buys it and uses it, Bungie will probably nerf it down, and then everybody will bitch about it because they think that Bungie's telling them how to play their game. I don't care. I think it's just a fun thing. One thing that has given me the most value recently is strikes, which are I don't know if you've played Doxy or heard what they are, Brian. You've done a couple. They're basically missions with a boss at the end. You go through them. There's a playlist you can do where they just keep going, and you have 2 other people with you.
Nice.
And they're a blast. So the playlists keep going, but the best part of it is that was actually in vanilla Destiny. You could do that. But the best part now is that they actually, I wouldn't say randomize, they kind of just flip the coin on what content you're going to get. So the mission's the same, but you might face completely different enemies. So one time it might be the robots, the Vex. The next time it might be these new Taken enemies, which are some of them are a pain in the ass, but they're actually in a good way. Like they're well designed so that you have to adjust tactics while facing like, oh shit, there's this guy here. We got to get behind this corner. There's a lot more that goes into the game now than ever before. And I was totally prepared to move on from Destiny. And now it's something that I check in on usually a little bit each day. Now you got to get back inside.
Well, maybe I have to boot it back up and see what happens.
It's really good. It's really good. And the gear, there's so many loot drops now that I feel like they did the Diablo thing where the stuff just flies out of people, like it just explodes, and then you get to a point where your inventory is full. Like you have to make choices now, and that never happened in Destiny before unless I played for like weeks.
Yeah,
So
Torchlight is seriously like playing. You're like playing, like all of a sudden it's like you're full, and you're like, okay, everybody stop.
Gotta send my pet to town.
Yeah, like pull up the pet. Okay, all right. Yep. Yep. Nope. 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 Okay, we're good. Go to town.
Does anybody want this ember? Does anybody want this gun? Does anybody want this chest piece? Yeah.
Yeah.
it's very similar though. I mean, you run out of room, and then you're like, fuck, what can I just shred for some quick cash? And then you get to a point where you have so much cash, you're just buying like shaders to look cool or new ships to look cool, and you're not really spending it on a lot of stuff. But the weapon upgrades, once you start upgrading your weapons, it goes so quick. And then you got to play more. And then they figured out, I think, the perfect hook for that game, and now they just need to keep bringing out new content. And so I learned that there's this exotic gun you can only get. They do these daily heroic missions, and they rotate out every day. There's an exotic gun you can only get during one phase that is not even on the mission path, but you have to go in a different direction and do certain steps. You can only do it when it's the mission of the day. So that mission might not... And I missed it, and it's like the best sniper rifle in the game, everybody's saying at least, from what I've seen online. But there's something to be said about this really cool challenge that now when that comes up, that Reddit post is going to be the top of it's going to be the most, the top post. Their subreddit is going to blow up. People are going to be tweeting out, and I'm going to jump on and try and get this stupid sniper rifle.
Yeah.
And it's so exciting. That's so cool.
That's pretty cool. I think that's a really cool mechanic that more games should take advantage of.
Yeah, it's those little things that get me back into the game. And even like they have a special vendor on Fridays. He's still cool. And I jump in at, 30 minutes, see what he has. If it's anything good, buy it. If not, jump back out. And I didn't do that with vanilla Destiny, but now that I'm invested more in the game, I kind of want to see what gun he has. I want to see if his armor is any better than mine.
Sure.
I wanted to be over it. I really did. I was ready to be over it. And even with Metal Gear
that's
sitting
that's the wrong attitude to have. Like, of course I want a game that I want to play all the time.
But it makes me feel better about being into it now.
Yeah.
The fact that I was so over it and I was able to get back in, I think they're doing the right thing, and I feel better about like if they do Destiny 2 or if they just keep doing these. I would be okay with packs of this size and breadth for another 2 years if it took them,
Totally.
To me, the best part is that they're doing right by the community.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Yeah. And they did
gives me the warm fuzzies.
The new story content is actually fairly good sci-fi. I think I touched on it last time, but it's like a good sci-fi story. You kind of get interested in what's going on and the motivations of the characters, and you understand a little bit more when the original game had nothing. Just nothing.
No, it was terrible.
I also did play a bunch of Rainbow Six Siege. I am very excited for what comes next. I still just can't, I'm still having trouble justifying a $60 purchase on a game that right now has 2 modes announced. It's fun. It is very fun. Very
there has to be more to it. There has to be, right?
That's what I'm thinking. That or there's so many maps and so many options. So they've revealed, I think, 10 operators out of 20 total. And the operators are all cool. Like one guy has a huge sledgehammer. One, you can see electronic devices through the walls. There's a lot of depth and a lot of like tactics going on. And I really, really like it because that hasn't happened in a game for a while. Like it's similar to Counter-Strike, but still very, very different than Counter-Strike.
Joe, do they have operators that can actually throw grenades through holes in walls?
I think they fixed their grenade system.
Oh, did they?
Brian, I think they patched that up.
Oh,
you dick.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, I still did flashbang myself instantly when I started playing. It's like, all right, I'm gonna chuck this right through that little, and then I just hit the ground because I was like, if anybody shoots me, at least I'm already laying down, so it's not gonna hurt when I fall. But man, it has led to some hectic and funny moments. Like with my friend, it was the two of us doing terrorist hunt. And he had a shotgun, but wasn't really relying on the shotgun because he didn't think it was going to do well. So he had his pistol out and walks into a room, and I get to watch him. I get to see his screen if I die, but I can't come back. So I'm watching him and trying to help coach where I see movement, and he's slowly creeping into this room, And he's looking straight ahead, and there's like just a little bit of movement to the left. And I go, I think there's something to your left. So he turns and just bah, 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 just uncontrollably starts shooting, does a circle and runs back out of the room outside to like the safe zone, like sits there and reloads. And I was like, what's wrong? He's like, I just got really scared, man. There's no music. There's no like cues. There's no footsteps. It's just a guy right there. Yeah. So I think it has a lot of potential. It just depends on what happens next. And I think if they don't open that up to Steam Workshop, they're missing a huge opportunity.
Yeah.
That game in particular has a really big audience that might want to mod that or even take the existing levels and change like where barricades are and what types of walls these are.
So, Joe, I do have a question for you. One of the things that I noticed when you were playing during the alpha was that people totally ignored the hostages.
Mm-hmm.
Do they still do that? Like, I mean, are people actually trying to save the or is it just kill everybody on the other team?
I haven't played enough matches to tell you. I honestly played a lot more Terrorist Hunt because that's what I wanted to see was in there. That's like the feature that I want in the game the most. So I've been playing a majority of that. I played a couple 5 versus 5, and they still ended when everybody's dead or when 5 people on one team die. So there's still, I think, I mean, I remember playing both ways a couple of times, and it always ended in a shootout. And it was always, it didn't matter if there was anything like a hostage being rescued or anything or any other objective. That being said, it was still, it felt more fun than the alpha. So it might have just been me warming up to the game style, or it might have been some changes that they made that just made it that little bit extra. But
Sure.
I feel like that kind of mode could really benefit from like having rewards for each hostage that is rescued. You know what I mean? Like you rescue a hostage and now you have an extra ability. Like they give you something that grants you
the
an
next
extra
round
ability or something.
Yeah, definitely. I think they need to look into that because even if it was like I'm sure there's a large experience boost. They use a system called Renown, but I'm sure there's a huge bonus if you get the hostage out, but it's almost
nobody
quicker.
fucking cares.
Yeah, it's just easier to kill everybody and
then get to the next round and do it again.
Yeah, why would you leave anyone alive even if, they're on their back somewhere? Like the threat of somebody being alive is much greater than just ending the round and getting it over with and moving on and winning the entire match because it's 5 rounds if I'm not mistaken, but yeah. That's actually I think that's all I've been playing. I'm pretty excited I downloaded the Nathan Drake collection demo on PS4, which I wasn't aware was even a thing. Never played Uncharted, so I'm excited to just jump in.
Me either.
So good. You're gonna like it. You're gonna like it.
It's I think that's October 6th, right? That collection.
9?
I have no fucking idea.
Early October, we'll call it. I'm excited to check that out. I've always obviously heard great things. It's Naughty Dog. So they don't make shitty games, so I think that might be one I pick up for me. I don't want to review it. Same with kind of same situation as Fallout. I'd rather take my time with it.
Yeah.
Plus, it's
exactly.
Pretty sizable games, I'm sure.
Yeah,
exactly.
Well, you could beat one in an evening if you like dedicated that evening to playing.
Yeah.
Still.
Seems like a lot though to take it. Just like.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to. I think that's all I've been playing. Hi, Brody.
Have either of you checked out Mario Maker at all?
Nah, don't have a Wii U.
Nah.
Haven't been.
Me either.
Really?
Yeah.
I totally thought you did have a Wii U.
Me?
You're gonna have to fucking get one for Fatal Frame, man.
Yeah, we'll see. I'd like. I think Fatal Frame is the most exciting title on that. Like with Star Fox getting pushed back, that was some news.
Dude,
I guess that was.
I don't know. Zombie U is pretty dope. All the Mario games are super cool. Like, okay, I know that I've gone in the past. I've been like, I can't support Nintendo, blah 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 blah. But my boyfriend does, and I get to reap the benefits without fucking spending any money in Nintendo. So that's pretty awesome for me.
Count it.
I get to sleep at night, but I also get to enjoy all this awesome stuff. But anyway, fucking Mario Maker. I have not been watching a lot of stuff on it, but Michael has been going nuts watching a bunch of streamers. There's like one in particular that he really loves watching that is apparently amazing at the game. And people are making these impossible to fucking beat levels that are like really, really hard. Surprisingly enough, that's not the kind of levels that I would be interested in though. Like I don't think that's the kind of stuff that I would go for. I think that I would want to see what kind of creative things that people could do with like puzzles that you have to solve and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
like, yeah, I don't know. I am reserving judgment for when Michael inevitably breaks down and buys it. But I'm kind of looking forward to seeing what kind of creative stuff the community has out there.
I've
Yeah,
seen some really
absolutely.
crazy stuff. I know I mentioned Giant Bomb earlier, and not to plug other websites, but they had a a stream of them playing Mario Maker, and it was like you can record sounds that come like when a Goomba comes out of a warp pipe. They recorded DMX sounds, and it was entirely
That's
probably
hilarious.
the funniest thing I've seen in a long time.
That sounds
Um,
hilarious.
But it does, that is one of the most interesting games to me, and it keeps getting awesome praise. That and like Splatoon, and they have a good stable of games, but I still don't think it's enough to motivate me. If Zelda came to the Wii U and not, I have a weird feeling that and Star Fox are going to the NX. If those two both could come to the Wii U, it might be something I'd look at in like a holiday bundle. But right now,
I
it's
would be
like,
really
Really, you
shocked
think
if
Star
they did.
Fox is going to get held to NX?
well, it just got delayed. It was supposed to come out before Zelda this year, and now it's not.
I definitely think, dude, that game is built for the Wii U though.
Yeah.
But it's also getting really shit on in previews. Everybody that's played it says it looks like garbage and looks like a game for like the best game from 2003.
Yeah, but I bet you Famitsu says it's a 90.
Maybe.
Of course, they say every game is a 90, but that's beside the point.
I mean, they just like games, man.
Yeah, they do. They love loving things.
You're being critical. All right, well, that's to touch on a little bit of news at the end there as well.
There you
The
go.
stupid Star Fox. I love Star Fox, but I
Also,
wish
Joe,
less.
your beard in an NBA is that's something, man.
Yeah, I put James Harden's beard on me. It's pretty
Nice.
good. So yeah, I'm definitely going to flash those photos up for you lovely viewers, and I hope you enjoy them. Well, I think that's a show.
Yeah, that
Nice.
wraps
Yeah.
up everything I wanted to talk about for sure.
Awesome. Well, so few quick announcements. Obviously, you're hopefully watching this on our YouTube channel. You can follow us at
Yes.
twitter.com/Homerow Podcast. We are at youtube.com/a very long URL that we will be changing. So tell all your friends to sub.
Yeah, we need 500 subs before we can get our vanity URL. Help us out.
Please spread the word. You can sub and forget about us if you'd like, but I would rather you not.
You can't do that, no.
But twitter.com/Homerow Podcast. Where else are we at? I don't think we have a Facebook yet.
Twitch.tv.
Twitch.tv/Homerow Podcast. That is true. I think next week, are we going to be able, we have any scheduling issues?
Just you
Not
are
on
starting
my
a
end.
new job, right?
Yes. Yeah, I start my new job on Monday, so we'll be starting a little bit later. I don't get off till 7 Mountain Time, so we'll be doing it a little bit later, but hopefully you can join us on twitch.tv/Homerow Podcast. We'll tweet out the link,
Yeah.
or tweet out the time a couple days ahead of time as well, so that you all have heads up. This was supposed to be a live episode, but we're lazy, so we're going to do 2 live episodes in October for you.
Woot.
Yay. You're
So
welcome.
you gotta follow us on Twitch and YouTube to get all that yummy, scrumptious goodness.
For sure. So, anyway, Doxy, where can we find you? Besides twitter.com/Homerow Podcast.
You can find me at youtube.com/ZER0DOXY, at twitch.tv/ZER0DOXY, and what's the one I haven't said? Twitter.com/ZERODOXY.
Mm-hmm. And Brian?
You can tell how much I was listening because I was like, I don't know, the one you just said. Yeah, you can find me on Twitter as Quiglin, Quiglin. I had really good intentions of doing twitching more, but that just hasn't happened. So hopefully, maybe by the end of the year, I'll try to start twitching a little more.
Sounds like a terrible affliction.
Yeah.
So I am at twitter.com, twitter.com/ not underscore. Let's do this again. Twitter.com/Joe_McAllister. That's MCCALLISTER. And I've got a personal Twitch channel, which I think I'll probably start using this week. It's kind of a week off, so I might, especially if I'm playing Lego Dimensions. You can join me. It's twitch.tv/ I believe it's Joe_McAllister, or try Joe McAllister as one word, same thing. So either way, follow them both. Do that.
Yeah. Even if it's not him, just follow it.
He's got a
See
good
what
name.
happens.
He's got a good name. So for the Homerow podcast, I am your host, Joe, saying goodbye for Doxy and Quiglin. And until next time on our live show, we'll see you next time.
Bye, guys.
Sub.